Can you beat War for Cybertron using only melee?
No.
It's entirely possible.
In this video, you're gonna find out.
Speak your piece. Quickly.
Now, I think it's safe to say that the Transformers games by High Moon Studios are some of the best Transformers games we've ever had.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last.
Please, Hasbro, Activision, just make up and kiss, please, and just put them back on the store. Crazy as it may seem, War for Cybertron released 14 years ago. Christ, I'm old.
Itchy, wretched, rusty, my ass!
Even so, it remains one of my favourite games of all time. I just love everything about this. From the designs, the story, the gameplay, the dark aesthetics, the multiplayer, the dark aesthetics. Now, I know a majority prefer Fall of Cybertron, but this one, for me, will always be my personal favourite. Now, I've played the campaign for this game many times. Probably too many times. And while I like to use melee often, I've never thought about using it for the whole game. So I've been working on these videos for months because I also did a vehicle only challenge. And I plan on doing this for every modern Transformers game.
I have to do this to fucking live!
He's insane.
So be sure to subscribe. Yeah?
On it.
Now let's lay down some ground rules. No weapons unless absolutely necessary and it stops us from progressing. Which, yeah, means basically the death of the video. 2. No abilities. And finally, just to make it more challenging, no transforming. Because we love walking as a transformer. And because we're real gamers, we're gonna go on hard mode. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not suicidal. For chapter 1, as the Decepticons, we're gonna pick my favourite, Barricade. Not the Studio Series toy, though, that's...
Does being that stupid hurt?
Now, unlike other Transformers games, this campaign can be played in cooperative mode, which is why there's always 3 characters to choose. But it's okay, even if you don't have friends, the AI is there for you. The journey begins with text.
Civil war has ravaged Cybertron.
Steve Bloom, please narrate my life. The game begins with Megatron and his Decepticon goons head into an orbital station that holds Dark Energon, a dark power that can corrupt stuff. And he's willing to do anything to get it. Literally anything.
Ram this warship straight into the heart of that...
I absolutely love Fred Tatasciore as the voice of Megatron. He's so ruthless and just an asshole to work for.
But sir, that's suicide! Silence!
The goons somehow manage to survive, but this is just a typical day for Megatron. The leader of this station is Starscream.
And I have protected my station for over 1,000 years.
This is bad comedy.
Now obviously we can't shoot these turrets, but they're also too high up for us to melee, so we're gonna have to let Megatron and Brawl do it for us.
Hail, Lord Megatron!
Do not speak unless spoken to.
Thankfully we can whack these turrets, and honestly I love how melee feels in this game. It just feels so badass. Now I didn't just choose Barricade because he's hot, it's also because he's the most agile out of the group, but mostly because he's cool.
This is almost too easy.
Bro, please don't jinx it. All that remained in this area was this dude. Now the boys weren't doing a very good job at shooting this guy, but thankfully, because I'm so agile, I was able to get him.
Megatron! I thought you'd be scrap-ready by now.
Dude, have you not heard his voice? You should be flying for your life. The next 2 areas was pretty easy. The guys kept falling down like flies, so we were able to move on pretty fast. With the area secured, we were able to meet up with the rest of our Decepticon buddies. Yeah, bro, don't give a shit. Yeah, let's just speed up the process and just murder these guys. Yay, murder! I always have way too much fun doing this. Also a commander at this station is Jetfire, who lectures us on how this is a very, very bad idea.
I've seen the horrors of what Dark Energon can do. To use it would mean disaster.
Shut up.
I hope this Dark Energon stuff is worth it, Megatron.
Barricade has the energy of an old man.
And we're fresh out of Star Cruisers to tunnel our way.
Quiet.
Our favourite alien tape recorder points us in the next direction.
I think I'm going offline.
These soldiers look pretty banged up.
Unacceptable. They should be dead.
Moving on to the next area, I thought we reached an obstacle, but thanks to the blessing of double jump, I was able to time it right and get to the soldiers. The same applies to the next room where Starscream tries and traps us. How is it possible that a robot with these toes can look so cool?
And his name is John C.
Now unfortunately the next area, this challenge is put to a halt, as these fans in the lower level make it impossible to get through. Try as I might, there's just no way to hit these with the melee. So for people who wanted a simple answer and didn't want to watch a long video, there you go. Bye. But for those who are more curious, we carry on with our journey and whack a bunch of snipers. Now you don't have to bother yourself with a bunch of soldiers in this area, you can just waltz through and carry on with the mission.
Flyers inbound. You disgust me.
Now the enemy that's the most pain in the ass in this challenge is the flyers. Some are pretty easy to hit, but some of them are so goddamn unreachable at times.
Bruh.
As we progress further into the level, we see that it's snowing. My favourite time on Cybertron.
Come on!
Now the final area of this chapter isn't really that hard. The only thing you need to really look out for is the heavy gunners. I tried my best to separate these guys, but they ended up just doing a tag team. But they're not really that bad. You just have to circle around them, and it takes about like 7 or 8 hits to kill them.
How do you like me now?
He's so tiny. I always love how it feels hitting with this thing. Unfortunately, another obstacle is this door. We can't hit it, so we have to shoot it. Ready guys? 3, 2, 1, T-pose.
No one can control Dark Energon! I am the Dominator! I am the Destroyer! I am... Badassatron! Receive your birthright!
As Megatron goes all Charles Xavier, it's the end of a chapter.
Dark Energon is mine to command!
You're endangering our entire world!
Please! Please don't hurt me! I sense easily!
Now for chapter 2, Fuel of War, I'm gonna choose Thunderkraken because he's ugly and he likes dogs.
Ugly? That wasn't necessary, but I guess I don't mind.
Okay, for this chapter, we're gonna have to break our rule for no transformation because there's just no way to get around this level without flying. I think you can already imagine how much of a pain this level is gonna be.
That imbecile thinks I'm expendable? Me?
But that doesn't mean we're always going to be using our jet mode, because there are some areas where we can clearly walk it.
You're as boring as ever, Thundercracker.
I am dead inside.
I gotta say, after playing this game so many times, it was kind of painful having to trigger the alarms.
Be on high alert. The Decepticons are planning to reactivate the Energon bridge.
Gotcha, bitch!
Our next enemy type are the shotgunners, who protect themselves with a shield, and they're really not all that bad. You just gotta give them 2 hits and they're pretty much done with. As we make our way to the next area, I did not anticipate how hard I was gonna get hit. Thunder's lights was cracked out. For our next task, we have to destroy an Autobot ship that creates a shield generator over the entrance. Whacking the cannons wasn't that hard at all, except for when it would knock you back sometimes. But the biggest pain in the ass was squatting these noisy Autobot flies. Try as I might, these guys would just not stop moving. I think Starscream and Skywarp were helping me out because as soon as I managed to hit one, I was able to move on. As we set our deck pack to blow it up, we were hit with another obstacle. The double jump wasn't enough to get us to the top, so we had no choice but to transform. Now I wasn't going to include armor in the run, but I feel like that's a challenge for another video.
Can't complain about that, I guess.
Trust me Skywarp, some people will.
Did you see that? You mean that creepy looking thing that just jumped over the side? Yeah! Nope, I didn't see anything.
I love these goofballs so much. Our next enemy type is the Autobot Cloakers, and these guys just feel so satisfying to whack when you finally get them. The next area isn't really all that bad, you just have to trigger a couple of alarms and be careful of the snipers as you're trying to open the door. Now I would have assumed that we'd have to shoot at this, but we can actually whack it, we just have to keep on transforming over and over until we finally get it done. Now we don't necessarily have to transform in this area, we can walk it all the way down, which is not recommended. It's very boring. I mean, we have to transform again anyway just to get to the next area.
What's the matter, Skywarp? Afraid?
At least I'm not ugly.
Ugly? You and I look the same!
That gets me every time. Because we're abnormal transformers, we're walking all the way to the underground. Okay, shit, never mind, we gotta go before we die. After dealing with a couple of shotgunners, we're now in a puzzle room where we have to supply Energon to these terminals. And unfortunately, we can't whack them, so we have no choice but to shoot them. Now we can whack this switch, but unfortunately the other two are higher up, so we have no choice but to transform. As we move further down to complete the level, unfortunately it's a massive obstacle, as we can't hit these turrets and we can't hit the power core. I mean, this is not my favourite boss, so I was really happy to get this over and done with.
I can't hear you!
All hail Starfree!
One more time!
Now for chapter 3, Iacon destroyed, we're gonna choose Soundman, because I love the sound this man makes.
I am whole again.
In this mission, we must move behind enemy lines so we can obtain the Omega Key.
The Omega what?
The beginning of this area is very simple. We deal with a couple of cloakers and... oh, that's some unfortunate imagery. Now I had a feeling that either Megatron or Breakdown would have taken out these snipers for me, but I was too impatient and I was able to get on top and whack him one. But before I could get to the second one, they already took him out. After using his voodoo stuff, we enter the map room of Cybertron, and if you guys have played this game before, you know I can't resist. Yep, I forgot they did that.
Megatron, I'm warning you right now. You are toying with forces.
Seriously? Did you just say toying? After kicking out some flyers, I decide to take on 2 heavy gunners at once. As we make our way further down, instead of driving it to the bottom, we walk it. Yeah, you guys can suffer too.
Let us not waste time. My energy would be better spent elsewhere. I must wait for this to pass. My functionality has dropped to acceptable levels. That was counterproductive.
As we make our way through and accidentally whack breakdown, we make it to the second train area. What the?
Hey, Soundwave, you want a race?
Negative.
We got more trains, and I gotta say, I was getting my ass handed to me in this area. But timing it just right, we were able to press on. And whenever we see an Autobot cripple, we have to whack him.
Leave no Autobot alive!
After avoiding the tracks, we meet up with everyone's favourite brawler, Brawl.
Whose butt needs kicking?
And I gotta say, the first part of this area was actually quite challenging. By trying to avoid the brute, this shotgunner just kept getting me. When there's more than one shotgunner around, you gotta watch your back. We make our way down and see Brawl, and I'm sorry, but how have I never noticed this before? This looks terrifying. This robot, he doesn't even have flesh, but it looks like he does. It's like it's just been burnt off. I'm gonna name him Skullatron. Okay. Anyway, Zeta flips us the bird, and we have to deal with a huge Autobot army. No, but hey, look at this guy helping out his friend.
Leave me here! Save yourself!
Now I thought this area would be another huge obstacle, but the Autobots actually make their way up the stairs, so you're not really waiting around all too long. It also helps that your Decepticon buddies are killing the guys you can't reach. But some of these Autobot soldiers refused to come down, so I had to jump my way up and whack as many as I could. There was a couple of moments where I was inches away from death, and these flyers were also a pain in the ass because I just couldn't hit some of them. But damn, it felt satisfying when I could. I thought I'd have to wait ages for these heavy gunners, but nope, they just commit suicide. And we didn't have to wait long for the bombers to arrive.
Boom! Eat that, Autobots!
With the streets now cleared, we head off to Zeta Prime, until...
Surprise, motherfucker!
Now I thought this guy was going to be a real challenge, but actually they're quite fairly easy to defeat. You just have to whack the button on the back for him to transform, get behind him and just keep whacking him over and over and over.
Oh, hell no, man.
I did that! All me!
Bruh.
Unfortunately, there's an obstacle in Zeta's vault. I can't hit this thing, so we have no choice but to shoot it.
Hello there.
Idiot.
We advanced to the boss arena, and I really hate this fight. And I got reminded why in the first 5 seconds.
Did you really think it would be that easy?
Come down here, Zeta Prime, and I will give you the answer.
I mean, it's fairly simple. You and your gang just have to avoid getting crushed. Okay, only you have to avoid getting crushed. The main annoying thing in this boss is the holographic Zetas. I mean, these guys are just going to EMP blast you non-stop. And sometimes whacking them can be quite a challenge.
And here I thought one of this guy was annoying!
Now surprisingly, unlike the Seekers, Megatron and Breakdown actually know how to fire, and are able to defeat the boss without my help. Granted, it took like 10 minutes.
Stay off the glowing floors if you wish to live.
Finally, we can be done with this level and move on.
Zeta Prime is conquered.
Now moving on to Chapter 4, Death of Hope, we've got the same guys as last time. I'll go with Breakdown.
Yes, back to gorgeous! Feast your optics on this!
Megatron realizes that Omega Supreme is the Omega Key, and is willing to pull the same trick from the first chapter. But Breakdown's a lot smarter than Barricade.
We're gonna die! What are we gonna do now, Megatron?
To hold off Omega Supreme, we have to destroy the bridge, but when we whack it, we fall down with him. So that's another obstacle, as Soundwave and Megatron are too busy firing at Omega Supreme. Always gotta do it ourselves. It takes merely seconds for Starscream to assume that we're dead, so we gotta get to the lift quick before he causes irreparable harm. Nothing really too troubling in this area except for the saturation just going up by 100%.
I'm invincible!
Once again, we have another obstacle where we have no choice but to shoot Omega Supreme's hand, or we'll die. We have a big room with a lot of Autobots, and honestly, I was really proud of myself for this one. As the bros drive out, we walk.
Did you see me back there? Omega couldn't touch me!
I'm shocked. Sadly, we get pinned down with another Autobot tank, but Starscream's here to save the day.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Yeah, so this area was kinda difficult, with the hitboxes on these repair sentries being a pain in the ass. Not only that, but these snipers were getting at me pretty hard as well. But the Autobot tank wasn't really all that hard, and hey, I got a health shield at the end. After avoiding getting microwaved and dealing with a couple of cloakers and heavy gunners, we take the time to admire the big ass toes on Omega Supreme.
We made it!
Yes, Breakdown. Your constant whining saw us through.
As soon as we get in the lift, we make it to the final area of the game, which really wasn't all that too challenging. The open space made it a lot easier to take cover and avoid getting hit. But unfortunately, this chapter ends with an obstacle, as Megatron and Soundwave are unable to hit Omega Supreme, so we have no choice but to do it ourselves. But even if they could, I got a feeling I would have been waiting there for a long time. And I would have waited as well, because I have no life. Now for Chapter 5, The Final Guardian, well, I guess there's only one choice, isn't there? Now you may be thinking the same as I did. I thought that there was no way I could get through this with melee only. Well, little did I know, it is possible.
You serious?
See, it doesn't take long for Soundwave and Breakdown to destroy his turrets, and you're already moving on to corrupt him with Dark Energon. Now I don't want to just wait around for Soundwave and Breakdown to shoot him to death. I want to get some action too. But you gotta be careful around his feet because you will die quickly. Now one thing that definitely does help you out is Megatron's hovering ability. Now I know what I said, no abilities, but I wanted to test it out with the hover anyway just to see how far I would get.
Not even Omega Supreme can stop me now!
Not very far. You can get up Omega Supreme without using the ability. You just gotta be very precise with your double jumps. And just like that, he's been conquered. And now we have to use the Dark Energon to corrupt him.
I know what to do. Be silent or face my wrath!
Alright bro, chill. For the ending of the Decepticon chapter, we corrupt Cybertron.
Let it begin! A glorious new age is upon us, my brethren. Cybertron is mine to command!
Now it's time to play as the Autobots, so with Chapter 6, Defend Iacon, we're going to be playing as Ratchet. My favourite.
Badassatron. I can't wait to learn everything about you, and then tell you everything about me!
The Autobots are directionless with Zeta Prime gone, so Optimus Prime assumes temporary command.
To any Autobots on this frequency, this is Jetfire, come in!
Oh, this guy again.
As we open the door with our big stretchy man-arms, we already have an Autobot in need of our help.
Relax, I'm a professional. How embarrassing.
Instead of saving lives, we're taking lives, and I love Ratchet's melee weapon in this game. I can't believe it took 14 years, but we're finally getting a toy of this design.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scares here.
As we defeat the brute, we carry on to the lift. Except for Optimus. Prime? Are you coming? Nah, he's not coming. It's fine, it's fine. We have another Autobot in distress, and this time we're gonna save him.
Hang on, I'll fix you right up. Completely unintentional. My apologies.
Now I thought we reached our first obstacle in this chapter, but no, you don't have to use the gun turret, just let Prime do it all on his own. But it takes a long time.
Do the Decepticons not have enough help already?
They don't call him a Prime for nothing.
Autobots, roll out.
Yeah, he said the thing. But unfortunately, we're walking it. And yes, I'm going to do it again.
My Energon level is falling. We're wasting time. Have to endure this. Thoughts muddled. Can't think straight.
As we press on, we have the third Autobot in distress, and this time we are gonna save him.
You're getting the best care possible.
Oh, come on!
That is really rude!
In the next area, we encounter Soundwave.
You guys definitely weren't invited, so fade.
I love how he's just waving us goodbye. As we move further on, we encounter the Decepticon War Machines. And I gotta say, they're pretty easy to take down with melee. They only take a couple of hits, and when it comes to destroying the center, hop on the Dark Energon, and you can land right on the machine. The machine won't push you off, so you can just carry on whacking until you destroy it. Make sure you jump on the Dark Energon in time before they get vaporized. Next, we've got to walk to the Decagon. And no, I won't make you watch this again. After whacking more enemies, we encounter our second Decepticon War Machine. And we finally are able to repair someone.
That was practically surgical!
Now this machine was a little more difficult to get on top of, but I soon figured it out and destroyed it. We're now going to have to ride the turbines to reach the other side.
I could be repairing someone right now. Terribly sorry.
As we finally reach the Decagon and destroy a couple of Decepticon gunners, everyone's favourite Tooth Fairy Ironhide arrives.
Decepticon punk.
He helps us get through the Decagon entrance, and we can just waltz right through here, except for this brute that we need to destroy. Sadly, we can't align the data streams by whacking it, so we have no choice but to shoot it. The only trouble I had in this room were the flyers. I had to wait a while for them to transform so I could whack them, and some of them wouldn't die in one hit. We finally make it to the top, and the boss of this area is Starscream.
You're no match for the speed and power of Star.
But when he's in his jet mode, you just gotta let B and Prime do their thing, and then he transforms. And as soon as he does transform, it's pretty easy. And I gotta tell you, whacking this dude was so much fun.
You'll see me again, Autobots! Coward!
For Chapter 7, Kaon Prison Break, we're gonna pick Bumble Bitch.
Hey! Is that funny to you?
The possibility of Zeta Prime being alive sends Optimus Prime to the Kaon prison complex.
Have faith, Bumblebee.
Spare me this mockery of justice!
Who said anything about justice?
We're soon rescued by air raid and head down to the service ducts. Now the great thing about this chapter, at the start, we have no weapons. And you don't have to pick any up when we break free.
Quickly, Autobots. Take their weapons.
Now bro, we're doing a challenge. I quickly got through this area, and at points where I thought I'd be stuck, Optimus and Sideswipe helped me out. We work our way down the lift, and we encounter Pinhead.
Who you calling Pinhead?
After whacking a couple of spiders, we're captured once again. But thankfully, we've got Optimus Prime.
Didn't know you could do that.
Oh, we can do a lot more. We take out a couple of brutes, just to impress her. She's so beautiful. We get too distracted and suffer damage.
That's what you get for looking at me funny.
We also take out a couple of heavy gunners, just to impress him. Damn, he's so cool.
Don't be a moron.
Unfortunately, Air Raid is also captured. But after dealing with a couple of cloakers, we're able to break him free. But not only that, we break free every Autobot in the prison. After dealing with a huge wave of Decepticons, we make our way down to the prison. Thankfully, we're not forced to use these gun turrets, so Optimus Prime is having all the action. There is a lengthy section to where Zeta Prime is being held, and unfortunately, we're walking it all the way. Sorry guys, I lost my T-cog. Eventually, we make it.
Yeah! We made it!
Quiet or I'll rip your voice out. We discover that Soundwave is into some really kinky shit.
All you bots out on the floor, get ready to rock it.
Honestly, this fight was pretty easy. Just destroy the sentries and whack each minion that pops out of Soundwave. And it was a lot of fun whacking these little dudes.
Hey! Who are you calling little?
Despite defeating Soundwave, we're too late to save Zeta Prime.
Oh, they hit me hard that time. I return with a fallen hero. Till all are one.
I wouldn't say hero. Also, why do they all look like Zetas? Now for Chapter 8, The Core, we're gonna pick Warpath.
That is music to my ears! Kablam!
I've made a huge mistake.
We're not only here to save the Core, but we're also here to save Omega Supreme, who's being tortured with Dark Energon. After destroying the restraints, we're in the main area. And this area is by far the hardest part of the challenge, simply due to it being one of the longest sections of the game, with flyer enemies being frustrating to reach. Not only that, but we've got to protect Ratchet when he's trying to heal Omega Supreme. And I have always hated that kind of challenge in video games.
I need assistance.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Just when we thought it was all over, we have to take on yet another Decepticon tank. Despite it not really feeling like a challenge, this one felt much longer to take on than the previous ones. I felt like I was just whacking on endlessly for ages, not knowing if I was doing any damage.
And Hulk. Smash.
With that done, we head into the Core.
Let's get it over with.
We had to wait in this area quite a bit for the Autobots to take out these Decepticons, but we also had additional help from Jimbo the Slug. That's what I'm calling him.
Weep, Ragna weep, Ninny bomb.
We got more slugs, and we gotta ride them to get to the next area. I think this section would be near impossible on hard mode because I was clinging on to life here. Great, the game froze. It didn't help either with these Decepticon flyers attacking us, and this corrupt worm throwing meatballs at us. It was so hard not to use the railgun because as you can see, I almost died. I have never been more happy to see a save icon. The corrupt worm causes the floor to collapse. and the gang gets separated, and it was at this point I realised I made a huge mistake choosing Warpath, because each character lands in a unique section of the area, and unfortunately for Warpath, we're blocked off from reaching the other guys, so we're stuck here, unable to melee. Of course, to get through the section quicker, the game wants us to use the railgun, but we can't do that, so we've got to wait for Ironhide and Optimus to defeat the Decepticons, and it takes a long, long time. Well, 6 minutes, but it feels like forever. Guys, I don't think you realise how heartbreaking this was for me, because I have always prevented that tank from destroying that slug, and I had forgotten what happened if it kills it. Once again, we're dealing with a problem that Optimus Prime does not want to join us at all. Okay, Prime, we're going to carry on the mission without you. We reach an obstacle in this chapter. This rock. Optimus and Ironhide are unable to shoot it, so we can't get across. So, we have to do it ourselves. Even though we can go around the second rock, Ironhide shoots it down. What a way to mess up the challenge, buddy. We finally reach the core, and the final boss of this area. I think I'll call this one Nimbo. And thankfully, we don't have to do anything for this boss. We can just let Ironhide and Prime do the work for us. Sadly, the Autobots are too late to save the core, but if the planet shuts down its systems completely, he'll be able to repair himself, but the process will take millions of years. He offers Optimus a portion of his spark to take with him to the stars.
For as long as it survives, so shall I. Will you accept this responsibility, Optimus Prime? No?
Oh, for crying out loud!
Now for Chapter 9, Aerial Assault.
I understood that reference.
I'm going to pick Air Raid because of his chunky ass legs.
That's good, right? This is good.
The Autobots try to leave the planet, but unfortunately Megatron's gun is shooting them down, so it's up to us to destroy it. Just like Chapter 2, for most of the sections in Chapter 9, we are forced to use our jet modes. And as we travel through, we're immediately at the most painful part of the chapter. Not only were the Decepticon flyers really hard to hit, but it took Jetfire and Silverbolt ages to destroy this station defender, because of course my melee doesn't work on it. I'm not kidding you when I say this took like 30 minutes. I was so happy when it finally started to take damage. Even when the health bar was at its lowest, it still took ages. Like, come on man, hurry up. But eventually, they did it. But that wasn't even the end of it, as we had a second phase of this fight. Yeah, can't say I had the same reaction. We get inside, and we can finally start whacking stuff. The V sentries were really giving me trouble. But eventually, we were able to kick our way through. Air Raid takes the time to compliment Silverbolt. Kind of.
You don't entirely suck at the job. You know, for a guy who's afraid of heights and all.
Wait a minute, Optimus chose Silverbolt to lead the team? Even though he's afraid of heights? Is Optimus Prime an idiot? We continue whacking and kicking doors to make our way through, and reach a room where we have to deal with a bunch of Decepticon cloakers.
Jetfire, after all this time, you've come home.
How does he know you? Long story.
They was once besties. The next room was fairly straightforward, but these heavy gunners were giving me some trouble. Thank God that there was an Energon cube right behind me. In the next area, we had a Decepticon destroyer, which once again wasn't really that hard to kill. It was the brutes and snipers around me that were giving me the most trouble. And still being committed to not using jet mode in some areas, these snipers, I just couldn't reach them at all, so I had to wait for my teammates to kill them for me. As we press on, we reach the final room for this section, where we need to hit some switches and overload the beam's pulse regulator. Thankfully for this, we can just whack it. And I gotta say, this room was a massive pain in the afterburner, because these shotgunners were getting me so hard, where I just kept on dying again and again. Thankfully, I was able to get through it, but the chapter isn't over yet, as we have one more section to complete. After whacking a few more comms, we have to go inside the orbital cannon, which is revealed to be Trypticon. Think of Barney but sharp. And this was the most time-consuming area of them all, because I'm not just waiting around like the beginning, I have to perfectly time my attacks.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into.
Thankfully, after each kill of a destroyer, it saves. And after killing the final one, we can all finally finish this level.
Move, move, move!
Okay, 2 of us can finish this level. And after whacking the sentries, the beast transforms. Jetfire and Silverbolt basically disappear, so we have no choice but to shoot his jetpack ourselves.
I will grind you into dust for this, Autobot!
Now for the final chapter, One Shall Stand, we're going to be playing as Optimus Prime.
All the slammin' shorties in the house say yeah.
Now this chapter is basically one big boss area. As Trypticon crashes down, it's up to us to check if he's really dead. But before we do that, we meet up with Ratchet, who gives us some extra armor.
I needed that!
Anyway, we finally reached the place.
Really? What was your first clue? The total devastation?
Tripticon does a surprise attack. Despite looking invincible, he does have a couple of weak points. But unfortunately, we can't melee. We actually can't melee at all. So it's up to B and Einhide to carry the fight. First off, we've got to deal with his cannons, and the best way to destroy him is shooting at these battery conveyors, which is the only thing we have to shoot at in this whole fight. After doing this, the aerial bots come to help, until... almost makes that last chapter feel pointless. Next we got to shoot out every man's weakness, his nipples, which took B and Einhide a long time to shoot out. He gets even more mad for blasting off his nipples, so he whacks us with his tail and we fall further down below. If positioned right, Bumblebee and Einhide easily take out Tripticon's power sources, but it can be tricky as sometimes they refuse to move. I won't lie when I say that this was very draining and time consuming, with it taking me multiple attempts. Now the spiders will be distracting to B and Einhide, as oftentimes they'll move just to hit them. But I had a solution to get the Autobots into position. Just whack them. Yeah, if you just whack them enough, they'll move and get a better aim. But it isn't always perfect. This close to finishing them off, and the guys decide to go on the left side. At this point I really thought it was going to go on forever, until... we finally defeat Tripticon with him falling down below.
Now that's just fun!
Thank Primus. It worked.
Defeated me, Autobots. Lie down and die.
No.
And that's the end of the game. The Autobots win the battle, but the war is far from over, as the Autobots gear up for the sequel, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, which would release 2 years later. I'll be doing the same challenge for that game next week. So, can you beat War for Cybertron with melee only?
No way. It's false. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened.
Technically, yes. There are many obstacles where you're forced to use your weapon and vehicle mode to progress with the story. But that aside, using melee only on any difficulty is a massive challenge. I'm sure if you love this game as much as I do, you've probably tried this challenge out already. Would I recommend it? No. Unless if you want to torture yourself. As stated, I will be doing a vehicle mode only. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, cue the epic music, and I'll see you in the next one.
Right, kids, that ends tonight's broadcast. See you on the floor soon. Peace out, bongs.